And that's why my personal belief is like any space that only allows for one train of thought or one school of thought or in doctrine or whatever is bound to fail. And I think that when we box people in on belief system rather than values, we lose a lot of greatness. And we should be able to genuinely coexist without having to hide away these other things. And that's why I'm like, value basis is.
Scared rabbit, they've got you boxed in. Old habit, you draw the curtain. Lonely only if they ever leave.
Hello, my name is Michael Zarick, and this is Third Space Indy. In this podcast, we talk to community organizers, leaders, and builders right here in Indianapolis who are doing their best to make Indianapolis a better place. Today, I'm talking to Imani Lehté.
Hello.
Who is somebody I met at a Gaza rally. And the reason I was so drawn into you is because you gave a speech and you said a lot of stuff that were like, it's like I was a Russian agent and you activated me. And you like said some things in the speech that I was like, that really connect with me. So I'll talk a little bit about that. But otherwise, hello, Imani, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
Over here crocheting.
Yeah, just making a little blanket, nothing serious. This has been my hyperfixation for the last couple of months, so yeah.
The blanket or just crocheting?
Crocheting. Yeah, this is my second blanket in the last couple months, so I'm very into it. I'm making all types of art right now, so this is.
So you mentioned it to me before we started recording that you wanted to bring up the name Lehté.
Yeah. So the reason why I use my name Imani Lehté, which is my first and my middle name and not my last name, is because my middle name is my great-grandmother on my mom's side. Her first name spelled backwards. So her first name was Ethel and my middle name is Lehté. And for me, I feel extremely connected to this person we were not on the same, realm of earth at the same time, but just like having her name is super important to me. My mom also says that she was like, you have my grandma's hands and all of that stuff. And so I really want to honor my great-grandmother through the way that I express myself. And so using that name is really more honorable than this last name. But that's a whole other story why I don't use my last name. But
that's okay. Yeah, you don't have to share. Wow. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. And thank you for offering to share as well. So the reason I asked you on, like I said, is because of the speech you gave at this rally. Mm-hmm. But also a very common question I get is, who is allowed to come on your podcast? And my question I always rephrase it back to them and I say, who is not allowed to come on the podcast? Mm-hmm. And the reason I say this is because I think truly that anybody is qualified to talk about community. Mm-hmm. And you don't necessarily have an association with an organization or a business or anything like that. You are just a member of the community, somebody who is deeply invested in the community. And I think that's really powerful. And something I just sort of want to talk to you about and things like that. Okay. Yeah. Any thoughts?
I'm I have so many thoughts. I have stories and explanations. I think I'll be very brief. I grew up, the school that I went to from ages 5 to 13 was a white Christian nationalist school. I lived up in Northwest Indiana, so I was near Chicago. I was in a populated area, but I think growing up in that, and obviously given the connection to our current times, I understand the deeply rooted illness of separation and individuality that I experienced being in that environment and how it indoctrinated my brain. And I think I had to move away from a lot of that stuff. And so my brother, after I finished college, my brother was living in Indianapolis, and I was like, I don't want to go back home. Mm-hmm. Northwest Indiana is okay. Chicago's okay. I've seen it my entire life. So I wanted to go somewhere else. And I moved to Indianapolis, and It absolutely changed my life.
For the better.
Yeah. I had already been, I have a minor in women and gender studies and counseling and a degree in psychology. So my brain has already been like people and, understanding the complexities and all that stuff. But once I moved here, I was able to actually like live that out for real and not just like read all the books that I've read and really be able to practice that in real life. And I've just been ever radicalized over and over and over again, just seeing the fullness of life outside of this very isolated and limiting thought process and way of living. And so because I see it and I've been in such visceral stuff, I'm like, okay, if y'all haven't been in as crazy stuff as I've been in, y'all can get out. Let's get it together. Mm-hmm. I was like, I could have been a trad wife for real. I was like, I genuinely had like the idea and I was like, okay, I'm gonna.
Wait, I'm gonna have to pause real quick.
Yeah.
Because I think of my average guest as my mother. And my mother might not know what a trad wife is.
Yeah.
So shout out to Marnie. A trad wife stands for traditional wife, and the idea of like 60s housewife who cooks, cleans, takes care of the kids, and doesn't have a career or any sort of aspirations. Although I do want to push back slightly on this idea as fully negative. Mm-hmm. Because I think women should be allowed to be trad wives.
Yes.
But I think there should be a level of choice. And I think that
absolutely.
Is what the advocacy is behind removing the choice.
Right, yep.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just a little aside.
No worries. So I, like I was saying, I could have absolutely been a trad wife. I had the idea, the last man I dated, I'm also a lesbian. And the last man that I dated, I was like, he's a good, wholesome black man. And he's been to church a little bit and he's in the army. And I can really I was like, listen, we'll be together for about 20, 30 years, make sure the kids go off to college. Mm-hmm. And I'll just be like, I'm just so unhappy after 30 years and we just have to get divorced and then I'll go find my wife eventually. But I was like,
These are thoughts you had?
Yes, I was fully willing to live within the script that my parents subscribed to at the time, lived in the script that the world and this schooling, and ultimately it was a cult. This cult kind of did to my brain. I really was just like, I'm willing to sacrifice it all. And, I'll get my satisfaction later when nobody can tell me what to do in front of my face. And I think coming from a place where I was willing to hide so much, all I'm grasping for now is freedom and liberation. And I was like, whatever gets me and other people there is really what is most important. Because I know what it is to be in that bondage. Like, you are aware of what's going on and you're still like, well, I'm willing to do it. Like, this is what I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At what point did you feel like, because you're talking about being in this sort of, I'm going to call it a mental prison. Just a way you just sort of stuck in what you were taught and what you saw around you. At what point did you feel, or was there a specific moment where you had a reframing?
I think there were several moments of reframing. Well, first was me going to public school.
Let's go.
Culture shock.
Let's go public school.
Ooh.
Shout out to public school.
We love public schools. And that was just me being around the general population of people for the first time, for real. Other than my family who's Black from Chicago and the, crazy school that I was at. And so I really was just like, oh, people can be complex and have multiple identities. I had always known that I was a lesbian from the first time I heard that word. I was like, something's interesting about that. I like that. If I've held on to that.
Okay,
right.
wait. So I'm half Lebanese. Do you know where I'm going with this? It's very common slip when I was younger to be like, I'm a lesbian. And my wife still calls it. She's like, Michael, you're a lesbian.
I love that.
So before you even knew what the word meant, it called to you.
Yeah. And so having the first friend I made was a very out and proud and alternative Black lesbian. And I attached myself to this person at the hip when I first like met them, because I was like, whoa, you can. They at the time had this like rainbow mohawk and shaved sides of their head. I was like amazed.
You're like, you're the coolest person I've ever
I was
seen in
like,
my
oh
life.
my God, people can be like this. And so I had moments like that. And then a couple years later, I actually like came out. And then once I went to college, I expanded my mind even more, and just like getting my women and gender studies minor. I was already like kind of a feminist and reading certain books and things, and was like, something's a little fucked up about this. But beyond, like once I got into the feminism, I was like, all right. And then once I got out on my own as an adult for real, I was like, oh, so all of this is like an actual thing. These things that I've been reading are real, for real. And obviously, I think the last instance of me being extremely radicalized was October 7th of 2023. I've grown up how I've grown up.
You're
and I
26, and
Yeah.
that would have been, you were 24 at the time. So that, I mean, I think about impactful moments in my life and how they reframe thinking. The thing I always reference as like the most eye-opening experience of my life is taking a class in college. I've mentioned this before, called American Intervention in Central and Southern America.
Now that's
Hey, go look that stuff up, listeners. It's very fun. But like having a sort of spark of like, oh, some stuff is going on, and also to have that for yourself in a moment where there's like two ways you could go, where you could be deeply dehumanizing or deeply pro-human, in my opinion. I think is it says a lot about you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think it was just also like, for me, I think growing up in a lot of fundamentalist faiths or faith practices as far as Christianity, there is this like push for Israel as a like, once Israel is, it's a big thing, then Jesus will come back. And I was like, I think I kind of went through my understanding of that and the teachings of that. And I was like, I don't really like the way that sounds, and not demonizing faith or understandings in that aspect, but just like, I was like, oh, so all of these people who are actively there, who are native to this land, are just gonna disappear? That doesn't make any sense to me. And it was just also like, I don't know, there wasn't any questions in my mind. I was like, so this has already been going on. This is just an escalation of what's already been going on. So I'm late. So it wasn't even like, it was just like I do 2 seconds of research. Oh, so this has been, 75 years of this already.
I actually
Like,
want to
there's
share my moment with this specifically. Is a friend of mine, who I will not name, was like, he's like, there's a couple things in reality that are like so obvious. Like there's moral, he goes, there's moral things that like you cannot disagree with. And it was in a conversation with another person who's also a good friend of mine. And so the first person A, who said that, goes like Palestine and Israel. And the second person goes, oh, what do you mean by that? And person A goes, Israel is right to like do blah, 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 blah. And person B was like, he's like, you don't think there's like disagreements with that? And I was just over here like listening to this conversation, totally uninformed, and like looked up like 4 videos and like read some articles, and I was like, this seems pretty cut and dry to me. It didn't take me very long to come to my own understanding.
Yeah.
Just because of what you said, the historical context. It was pretty simple.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I think being deeply connected to erasure, as just being a Black person, being a non-binary person, being queer, living in this country, like I think me
blows away, wisp in the wind.
like I was just like, so So they were literally like, it was just wiped off the map. Huh. I was like, that's a little funky. I've never seen that be done and there be good things happening. And then I was also like, oh, Britain's involved.
Don't get me started on Britain.
Oh, so the grandfather of racism and
pretty
bigotry and violence. And, yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, well, the other thing that like really caught my eye when like watching those videos was the way the map changed on certain dates or like certain like markers. Because I was like, why? Like this doesn't seem. I was like, this doesn't seem right.
Right. Everything's not curling.
But I think it. But thank you for sharing like those times.
Yeah.
And as always, free Palestine. And
Hey,
that,
yeah. From the river to the sea.
very difficult. Very it weighs on me every day. So I do want to get to what drew me in, because it is not specifically this issue that drew me into you. It was just the happenstance of being at a rally.
Yeah.
What you talked about in your speech was not about this specifically. It was about more localized conversation around when we are at a time where we are lacking in service from the government, from I don't know from a lot of places. All we have left is each other. And I think this idea of really deeply investing in your community and yourself and lifting each other up as best we can is really what connected with me in that moment. I am butchering what you said in a lot of ways, but that is what really drew me in and why I approached you and said, hey, come on my podcast.
Yeah. I'm like, where do I even go from there? I think so. My biggest community that I'm a part of is Indy Community Yoga. And shout out.
I literally talked to Tony 4 hours ago.
That's my guy. I was just messaging
I'm glad
him
you brought it
earlier
up.
today. Yeah. I think they were one of the places that I was like tiptoeing in for a while before I really like started to go. I had gone to probably like 2.5 years ago. They had a practice at like the Pike library branch, and it was like yoga for everyday people, and it was like 6:30, and I came in late, and I was like, and had such an amazing experience. At the time, the person leading was Katasha, who is amazing. Love her, shout out.
I haven't met them.
Yeah, Katasha is awesome. They have like a candle shop out in, I think it's, let me not say the wrong city, somewhere in Ohio that's kind of close. I mix up all the C names. But, and so I went to that.
That's right, there's Columbus, Cleveland,
right.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, no, my brain
What's going on in Ohio?
I cannot keep up with all of that. But went to that movement practice and had such an amazing time, and then went to a Qigong practice where Tony was facilitating, and it was at the Indy Zen Center, and I fully went onto the floor with my shoes on, having, no knowledge of these, of like, how sacred these spaces are, or what's the, common practice within these spaces, and him just being so welcoming and being like, okay, well, you can take off your shoes here. And just being so open and welcoming. And then they have their queer and trans practice, which is my favorite practice. And I started going there last summer and have rarely miss. I just love the space that they're cultivating as far as like allowing queer and trans people to feel comfortable moving their bodies and all of that stuff. And I just, the integrity that I've seen, and them being very clear about what they believe in, and that they're about, community and liberation and all things freedom and all things progressive, for real. And I have in so many different ways, whether financially or just emotionally, been directly supported by folks in that community. And I think that's...
Well, when you talk about, you said some stuff earlier in this very conversation where you're like, I was lying to myself, I was masking, I was not being true to who I was, and that is very much what Tony and I discussed earlier today. But every practice, it is about being true to yourself and not lying to yourself about who you are.
Yeah.
And spending time thinking about that, and then also sharing that with other people in the moment. Is that what you found, like, you're really coming to face with?
Yes. Oh my God. During that first Qigong practice, there's a quote that they do before every single practice, and it's being an ordinary heart, and just like there's no way of knowing or not knowing. It's just you just gotta you gotta be. And that's how you know. And so it is just all like, everything is everything. You are you. Freedom is the most important thing. We're all connected, all of that stuff all rolled into one. And so I've seen that continuously be echoed in this community. And I think it's really empowered me to push forward things that I want to do and ideas that I've had in my brain and in my body that I just haven't gone for. And so I'm like, genuinely, it's the reason why I'm about to go on leave from my job for a little bit, because I'm like, this space has really shown me, like, and I've read the book, Rest is Resistance by Trisha Hersey. That's a great book. But
in the
really,
show notes.
But really like seeing it lived out by community members is, and being given permission, whether verbally or just, through how they move throughout the world to do that is so important. And I don't know, it's life-changing. It's just life-changing. So shout out to Indy Community Yoga for being one of the places that truly keep me grounded. I like now tell my mom, I'm like, I gotta go to church on Sunday morning, gotta go to my little movement practice real quick to make sure that I renew myself and be around community and refuel my cup.
I've only gone to 2 or 3. And I was telling, I feel like I am doing myself a disservice by not attending more, because it's very pleasant. And even, I think even if you go in with a hesitancy, which you shouldn't, because it's very welcoming and open, you will come out just feeling rested in a different way.
And what I'll say to you is no rush, because like I said,
you said you were tiptoeing.
Right. And I think that's the best way to do it. That's really what they want. Like, that's the ordinary heart way, is like and I think as someone who's been in a cult, like, to avoid cults is to be skeptical. Is to be like, let me really.
I don't think I see why it's a cult, but I don't think that you're saying that either.
No. But to make sure that you're not involving yourself in things that, how we avoid fascism is allowing ourselves to really sit with those things and, like, sometimes tiptoe in and out and be like, all right, I might have to come back to that book later because I really can't absorb that information. But still knowing that, like, even in that moment, like, this is probably good for me. I can't have it right now.
Yeah.
Maybe later I'll come back to it. And so, yeah.
So
you'll find it.
You identify heavily as a community organizer. Yes. No. Yes.
Yes, but the title that I give myself in I don't know, to be silly is more like community B word. That's not a nice term, but like I am willing to. I also am a pastor's kid, so that's important context.
TOR pastor.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Pastor. My dad currently has his own little sect of whatever. And so I think I know what true servitude in a community is, but for violence and harm. And so that's why I'm willing to kind of label myself community B, because I'm willing to, and maybe in not an amazing way, but I'm willing to, like, really do as much as I can for the people who I know would have and will do the same. Like, I don't know, Tony himself has like, I want to use the word blessed, but it sounds so, like, Christian-y or whatever, but genuinely has like blessed me in financial
I say
ways
blessed
that
all the time.
I can't like, yeah. Thank you for giving me permission to do that.
Of course.
But like genuinely has blessed me in ways that I'm like, I don't even have family members that I know that I can rely on to show up for me. And that's not just because of sex. Like there's complications, whatever. But like to know that this person is like, you're a human being worthy of just being heard, being supported in whatever way I can. Like that's, I don't know. It really, that's that like unconditional love with conditions, if that makes sense. Yeah. That's that unconditional love with boundaries. And I'm like, I really appreciate that. And that's how I kind of want to move throughout my life and how I've been shifting and moving in the last little while. So,
yeah. So what do you, are you taking any active community building efforts? If not, that's okay. I just
well, my biggest way is doing rallies, mostly folks from like JVP, Jewish Voices for Peace, Indiana, amazing, love them, have asked me to partner in some things. I also am on the board for Indy Community Yoga, so if we do more like out loud community-based conversations or rallies or anything like that, I'll kind of be the representation for that. I also am a poet, so a lot of the work that I do in that aspect is very to get you activated and going. It's telling you a story so that you don't repeat a pattern that I'm seeing or that I've noticed or that I can articulate. And then the last thing is that I have this big, hopefully 5-year plan to open up a community space.
We talked about that.
And yeah, so
excited.
that's my biggest thing is kind of moving towards that. And I am trying to start my coalition, collective, whatever I want to call it, comrade situation of people who genuinely are passionate about this, who are like just all scattered around and who are well connected, who need a place to house it. And I'm like, community B word here. I'll be the voice. I'll be the voice. I will scream and yell and look like the crazy person so that y'all can get what I know y'all can do done. Like I just want to be the face to keep it going or whatever it has to be. Like out. So that's
Definitely.
that's my biggest goal right now. Yeah.
Community B word
Yeah.
out here.
My mom probably wouldn't like that, but
You're not saying the word.
yeah,
You're saying
yeah,
B word.
B word.
Could be like Bumblebee.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Listen, pollinating and things.
Yo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bees are into community, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sorry, I'm listening to the birds.
Yeah.
So, I've begun asking, I don't know what the correct word is here, this question, which is, what is a third space to you? It's the topic of the show.
Yeah. Which I love. Third spaces are my big thing. It is, in my mind, mostly free, but just blatantly community-centered spaces where people can be free to be themselves, all iterations of human beings with respected boundaries. And somewhere else outside of your home, outside of your job, outside of that coffee shop you always go to be free. And for me, that's community space, that's poetry spaces, that's my yoga space. And
well, so we are in Murat Woods.
yeah, this too.
Is this considered Broad Ripple? I don't know how this works. But you mentioned that you really like being here and connecting with nature. And then also, when we were talking about where else to record, you mentioned a brewery / pub. I don't know what it is, but a place on the east side. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start with the woods. I kind of lived like downtown a couple of years ago when I first moved to Indianapolis. And so I was like looking for trails, looking for places to walk that were like calm and you know, scenic and all of that stuff. And I found this place and I don't know how many times I walked here that year alone.
From downtown?
Not from downtown, but I would like come. I would
walked here
come to
as
the park
in-
and walk around here. And so I'm like,
Understood.
once we get into the innards, once you get into the innards, I know this place like the back of my mind. Like I've literally been in here in the dark, and people have been like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I know this place."
We'll see how it goes when we leave today.
listen, we'll be okay. I believe in us. But this just place mostly untainted by the violence of constant or of urgency. Like it really became my place of like, you don't have anywhere to go. This is it. These trees are all this is, or what it really is supposed to be. The plants that you see here, the nature, that's really what it's supposed to be. And so I think it became my third space because I just like, it quiets my mind so much. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's my real like woo woo point of just like, I love the nature and the trees and the.
That's funny.
So.
All right. So what about what is it? It's not a brewery. They don't brew beer there, do they?
Do.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yes.
So it is a brewery.
In the
It's a
back.
brewery.
Yeah. So Kismetic Beer Company, my friend, shout out Nicole and Ryan. They opened, let me not be wrong, May of 2023? 2022, 2023?
I've never been there. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm like, sorry if I got it wrong. I'm trying to be a good representative. No, it's 2022. And so I moved into my house that was like a couple of blocks away from there, literally like a couple months before. And so I was like, there wasn't too much around the neighborhood. They hadn't really like done up the park near my house that much. And it was just like, I was like, I'm getting used to the east side. What's going on here? And they opened up, and at the time I was working at a restaurant in Carmel that had like 100+ beers on tap. And so I was really learning about beer at the time. And I was like, okay, this is a community space. It's woman owned. It is beer. So I was like, I'm gonna try it out. And I was like really into reading books, and I was like way more introverted than I am now. And I still am an introvert, but went in there, and it's just Nicole and Ryan in there, and they were, I don't know. My brain doesn't expect, unfortunately, white folks who are in their late 30s, early 40s to be like so open-armed, and especially in the beer world, it can be a little like.
Actually, I have a story about that, but you can keep going.
Yeah. So it's like it could be a little dicey, and I'm like, I know what I'm getting myself into, and so to receive abundant welcoming and acceptance. And then I started talking about this book that I was reading with Ryan, and he started reading it, and he ended up getting ahead of me in the series. And now we got to talk about the third book that just came out and all that stuff. And just being able to create these friendships with these people who are just like, we've been in beer for 15, 20 years in this city. We've seen the ups and downs and the complexities, and we want to create a space that's really for all, and be intentional about who we are and not accept weirdness. And I love it.
I think the Joker's over there, by the way. Did you hear that?
That was wild. All right. I'm trying to ignore that so I don't get scared.
We'll be good.
But so them just being so open to arm and just creating that space right there. They just happen to find that space, and it'd be the right place for their brewery, and now they brew all of their stuff in the back, artisanal quality stuff. So if you like beer, they've won awards, people.
Kismetic.
Yeah, I think they.
Do you know the street?
It is
That's okay. It'll be in the show notes no matter what.
Yeah.
And I have a map.
Yeah. I know it's on the cross street of rural, but love them and what they've created, and they do all types of events and things, and
yeah,
I don't know, they're awesome. I do love, like, I did love learning about beer, and I definitely know the beers I don't like. Don't give me nothing dark, nothing that tastes like coffee.
Ooh, I love a good dark beer. I love a good coffee beer or a chocolate stout.
Kismetic they've got some good stuff.
I gotta hit up Kismetic.
I think they have a peanut butter. Let me not lie. It might be a peanut butter stout. Let me not lie.
That's something that exists.
It sounds amazing. They have a Japanese rice lager that is so amazing.
Ooh.
All of their sour beers are excellent.
Did you know?
Yeah.
Total aside.
Yeah.
National alcohol sales are down like 10%.
Okay.
Actually, I think it would be interesting to have this conversation with you. I think that vice is really important to community building. So drinking alcohol, smoking whatever you smoke,
Yeah.
cigarettes, whatever else. Maybe not hard drugs. I think it's a little going too far, but
Right.
like this idea of vice as a community, like, hey, let's go out, have some beers, and just like chill, or let's go like smoke around a campfire or whatever, that type of thing is really important to community building. And I think this is something that the reason for alcohol sales dropping, I think, is multitudes, but I think part of that, part of the sadness of this is that we're missing out on, like, pubs are going out of style. Going out with your friends is sort of out of style. And that's just what I think about. And obviously there's negatives to both of these things. I do not support drinking in excess. Do not support drinking in excess, but I think that there is some value to be had through vices.
I can hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
And I think also, like, what I'll say is, as we create more spaces, and this is why, like, when I create my community space, I'm going to intentionally make it a space that is, you know, it could be vices or not. I mean, coffee it can also be a vice, but, you know.
Coffee is definitely a vice of mine.
But you know, more mild vice. Things, safe for work vices, you know. I forgot my train of thought there.
That's okay.
Gosh darn it.
Oh, just a random thought that I always think about. All right. Oh, next question. I do have actual questions written down.
Okay.
Just to, like, you know, loosely keep the flow going.
Right.
Along the same lines of, like, what is a third space? What is a third space that you used to have that no longer exists that you miss? If there is one.
A third space that no longer exists that I...
If there isn't one, that's okay.
Well, I'll say for myself, the church. And I'll absolutely say the Black church. I think having just been educated before, just being a Black person in America, and knowing how important churches and spiritual spaces were to progress and movements, to see there be, because there is such a, like, stronghold over, like, fundamentalism within these spaces, and, like, it just, obviously it's always been a problem of you know, people shutting people out of these religious spaces, unfortunately, and they always have to combat that. But I think, like, it's even more plain now, and so it's just, like, sad that I think about this music that I grew up with, or some words of the Bible that I think of every once in a while, and, like, I'm like, I can't participate in that anymore. Just because of, like, literally due to, you know, how my brain works now, how they did me. I can become that old person again, but also, like, genuinely, where is a Black spiritual space where I am free and safe to be a non-binary lesbian, or be radical in thought, or question the spirituality. And that's why my personal belief is, like, any space that only allows for one train of thought or one school of thought or in doctrine or whatever is bound to fail. And I think that from, like, regardless of the political spectrum or whatever it is, I think when we box people in on belief system rather than values, we lose a lot of greatness. Because I can honor a Christian person's experience and their connection to God and all of that stuff, but I don't have to go there. And they can honor that I'm a spiritualist and have knowledge in a couple of different things. And, you know, a lot of what I do as far as, like, yoga and movement is based in Buddhism, and we should be able to genuinely coexist without having to hide away these other things. And that's why I'm like, value basis is more important than these, like, how, I don't know.
I totally agree with you. Yeah. I personally really enjoy the framing of churches, religious centers, religion as quote unquote third space, as community spaces for people, and your framing of how you should. It's sort of an alternate of what Tony said earlier today, which is like religion is just how you live your life, which I really appreciated the similar idea. Like, this is just the values you hold.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right. And what that looks like can absolutely be different. I want it to be different, please. We do not all need to do the same things. It is so important for us to have varying thoughts and,
I've always been
differences.
jealous of like I guess it's more like pop culture, but it's also real, like pop culture version of like black churches, like so joyous and like songy and dancey.
Yeah.
'Cause I've never had that experience.
Yeah, it is a fun time. So like that's why I'm like the music is in my head, and I'm just like I'm a music head anyway. But like a lot of because I also am a singer. I'm trying to get into that bag soon. And a lot of my basis of learning how to sing is.
In the show notes.
Listen, I don't. I do have a SoundCloud. Oh my God! Sorry, you just brought up some memories. But yeah, there is that like great joy, but also, unfortunately, oftentimes, more often than not, there being that like strong condemnation and these things called deliverance services, where basically you're casting out whatever ailment you have or whatever, or
Is it the one
just,
where they're like
some
where they're having like the demons leave their
yeah. It's a black exorcism a little bit. Yeah. But I
Take it
think
or leave it, you know?
yeah, and that's not obviously that's not everybody. And I've also had a majorly visceral experience. And the school I went to wasn't even a black church, so it was a white Christian nationalist. So that was like a very different experience. But even I think like it just sucks that those spaces haven't move forward, because I have like a friend who has a degree in religious studies and is so well educated and is a trans woman and has to like combat so much trying
That's
to
such an interesting
be
person. I don't
so,
even know.
oh my God, I love her. I need to call her soon. But like the things that she has had to combat, just being a human being, like in religious spaces, and like trying to find the most progressive space, and it being like, okay, there, at least there's one church here right now is doing what they need to do as far as their beliefs, and I've asked the right questions, but it not being a collective thing is like something that people who are actively in church are feeling too. And so I'm like, we got to expand. I'm like, the same way that you can talk to me, and I am Christian, Buddhist, spiritualist, whatever. I think there's got to be that space for someone who's like, I'm a little more Christian-y, but I got a little space for these other things too. And I think that's the only way that people are going to come back to church. Because nobody's coming back to church if there's this like weird, I don't know.
Yeah, I think churches are struggling.
Yeah. So, praying for them. Literally.
Okay, from Tony.
Hey.
Question.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew I did this, but I asked a question from the previous guest.
Yeah, I've been listening to the.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah.
I never know. So I actually have it's not two-parter, it's just two separate questions. First question, what is your favorite ice cream?
My favorite ice
I can't answer this because I don't like to do favorites.
Oh.
This is that's a personal quirk of mine.
And I'm the type of person who has multiple favorites of things. So I would say it's between chocolate chip cookie dough and mint chip. Ooh. Okay.
We're about to go on
third place is like a coffee, Java chip, anything like.
Yes.
I currently have a tub of that.
You know what my favorite type of ice cream is? Whatever the one in front of me is.
Listen,
Amen.
Honestly, I've not had a lot of bad ice cream. I'm
you ever
also
had like corn flavored, like corn la cob?
Oh my God! I think I saw something on the internet.
It's so good. Because it's like sweet corn ice cream. That's just good.
I saw someone made like a honey cornbread.
Yes.
Ice cream, and I was like, "What are you?" And
but
put
good.
and put cornbread in between, like actually made corn. I was like, "Hey, now, lady, you need to stop."
In Arkansas, where we moved from, there was this ice cream place called Creme. But the guy who ran it, I think he was Vietnamese American. He's like the most dude bro guy of all time. And then his wife and he would make the weirdest flavors intentionally. So he had like a cornbread one. He made like a taro isn't that weird, but like taro mixed with like other stuff.
Okay.
And just I missed that place because it's like I was like, whenever they had like a new weird flavor, I was like, I gotta try it.
Yeah.
Here I go spending money again on the ice cream. Oops.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering.
Yeah. If you want ice cream in the city, go to Lick. They recently did a day fundraising for Palestine, and they are very open and honest about what they believe in. And so, yeah, if you want a place to go, I think they have 2 locations. I think one in Sobro and one like more mid.
So there's the Sobro place that they opened. I'll link to them, but there's a Sobro. It's a storefront that they opened. I think it's near the Monon, and then they have a little window in the Factory Arts District.
Yes.
Farts.
Yeah.
Farts. Yeah, their ice cream's good. Oh, second question. No, thank you for asking. This is less of a question, more of a statement or a request. It says, paint a picture of your hometown.
I'm like, I don't even have a hometown for real. I moved around a lot.
Take it how you like it. Or romanticize it.
Yeah. Lots of.
Or burn it to the ground. I don't know, whatever. Whatever.
I'm gonna romanticize it. I'm gonna think about like 10-year-old me. What I most remember about my hometown or the area I grew up in is the hills that are around, and either my mom or my brother like driving down those hills super, super fast, and our stomachs like going up and down, and just beautiful scenery. Lots of cornfields and beans and
in
stuff.
Indiana, who could have seen that? I don't know.
But living right next to a cornfield multiple times in my life, and this is the more like adult version of me, but just like constant facades. There was like and I think I even see it here too, and I want to create better, but. And I kind of lived this life. I lived in a like pretty big home when I was growing up, but we ain't had no money. We didn't need to be living
Big house, no money.
Yeah. We did not need to be doing that, and so I just like I feel like that was the perpetual issue of that area. That's the perpetual issue of the region. Is like we trying to look good, and like we really need to build up our infrastructure and focus on these things that are beautiful and build up our land and spaces for people to walk and do things and stop forgetting about Gary and all that stuff. Yeah.
Shout out to Gary.
Yeah. Hey, we love Gary.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
You made me think. This is a specific memory that I always think of. When my oldest brother, Andrew, shout out, got his license. So he's 11 years older than me. So I would have been 5. So when he was 16 or 17. Drove me to get ice cream. Again, ice cream. It's a constant in my life. Him driving me in his, frankly, very shitty car to get ice cream. It was Baskin Robbins in Louisville. Listening to Will Smith. I have the Will Smith song stuck in my head. I think, I can't remember the name of the song, but if it came on, oh, it's the one that goes, na 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 na.
Oh, yes. Is that summertime?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I'll figure it out.
But that loop is in my head, and just like driving to get ice cream. That's
I love that. Yeah, that's my idealized version is like that in either early fall or like late summer, just it's getting late and the sun is going down. Also, oh my God, Indiana has the best like sunsets. I love a
broad ripple sunset.
Oh my God.
We didn't get one today because it's cloudy.
Yeah, but when it's there, I think it's just all the smog. But it's real beautiful.
Positives of cars. Thank you.
Yeah, ooh.
Beautiful sunsets. Thank you for answering. It was very kind. Imani, we are nearing the end. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up? It's okay if not.
Yeah. Well, okay. I do want to leave the people with a thought, Keep trying. And like I was saying before, like, I think it's okay to be a little skeptical before you hop in. I think that's the best way to do it because you've really done your research and you really let it sit in your body. Boycott, divest, and sanction. That is one of my major politics as of right now, is understanding the value of our money, of our dollars, and of how we move and like how we show up. Literally how we show, like where we show up to. So there are lots of grocery stores, fast food places. There are these little sacrifices and comforts that we have adopted just because we live in the United States, and resisting those things, resisting our easy comforts, resisting the things that get that easy dopamine release, as someone who has ADHD, so it's hard, is going to be incredibly important in the years moving forward. What I want to most tell people as well is that, like, a lot of white Christian nationalists, at least from my experiences, don't have an abundance of skills. And that's whether it be like genuinely knowing how to do stuff like this or building things. Not as a collective do they know how to do these things. There are some people who have been like real fundamental and on the farm and all that stuff. But the majority of these folks, the majority of fascists don't know how to really build things up in whatever way, use their hands, use their minds in ways that cultivate and build. And so we have that, we have the brain capacity. So please use that, learn a skill, whatever it might be, grow your attention span and I don't know, stop spending money everywhere, wait on things. Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's a good tip. I also, if you are spending money, just shout out to Indianapolis. There are some incredible local businesses. You mentioned too, Lick and Kismetic Beer Company. There are many more beyond. That's where I spend my money most of the time.
Yeah.
So I think things that are what would be considered creature comforts are only that until you find other ones. So.
Yeah. And also
you say, invest in ourselves.
Yeah. Find what thing makes you, I don't know, whatever interests you, and find a club for it. There probably is something out there. I do a lot of research and interest and stuff, and there are tons of places in Indianapolis or very close that have what you want. So you are worth the time it takes to look it up.
And if you feel like you can't find one, reach out to me or Imani, and we'll help you find one. Huh?
I'll go with you.
Oh, I'll go with you too.
No, please.
It's always an opportunity to find a new podcast guest. I was actually invited to what's the word? Comedy, like improv.
Oh, okay.
I was invited to an improv comedy thing the other day, and I was like, I can't go, but I want to. So just there's something for everyone. The amount of did you know, I've brought this up before, but did you know that Mahjong is on the rise in America?
I have loved Mahjong.
That's crazy. Oh, so you're ahead of the curve.
Yes.
That's so funny.
I'm a solitaire kid. I wasn't allowed to see a lot of things. I was like, all right, what can I do that's safe and wholesome?
So you're on Windows XP playing pinball, Mahjong, and solitaire.
Yeah, I've read a dictionary before. I'm an interesting person.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Imani, I need you to ask a question of the next Third Space Indy guest.
Ooh.
You knew it was happening.
Okay, I know. Damn.
The pressure's on.
Okay, let's see.
And again, you were literally asked, I think people stress over this, but you were asked what ice cream you like, so.
Yeah. Huh. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm trying to come up with this quick. What is your favorite green space in Indianapolis? Yeah. Whatever that means to you.
Heard.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. I've said that every time now. Yeah. I don't know. Imani, can you please tell the people where they can find you, or just give a shout out to whatever you'd like? You already kind of did. What's the BDS movement like website? Is there like bdsmovement.com?
.org?
.org? I don't know. It's out there. You can Google it.
BDS, look up the BDS youth movement and you'll probably find like the exact thing you need to look into.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. That is the way that I am thinking about life moving forward because it works. Also, I'm like, you saw the boycott of Target, so yeah. Anyway, you can find me mostly on Instagram. I post stories and things of that nature, and I post some of my art sometimes and things I'm doing in my life at Imani Lehté. That is IMANI Lehte. And I am starting a coalition group of people to create community spaces in Indianapolis, and I can't do the work alone, but I want to be the face of it, or I can be the face of it. I can. I don't. I don't want to be like
introvert win.
Yeah. I want to be the face of it, just to get myself out the house. But yeah, I'm trying to cultivate that. So if you've heard anything that I said and you agree and you like it, hit me up. I really want to like have as many people together as possible. So yeah, that's the best way to find me, and around in poetry spaces around the city. So.
And if you don't agree, send me emails. I'll respond probably.
Yeah.
I'm actually consistently looking for more haters. So if you don't agree with anything said on this podcast, please let me know. And I'll relay it to Imani probably. As long as it's not heinous.
My haters are my motivators, okay? That came from being a kid growing up in Chicago, okay? You know, the more haters I got, I know I'm doing something right, all right?
I'm dying. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Third Space Indy. It is so dark.
It is.
You can find Michael, me, at Third Space Indy on Instagram.com, or wait.
Yeah,
I combined two sentences there. You can find me at Third Space Indy on Instagram, or at thirdspaceindy.com, where I write a blog with every episode. It's really long. Please give me your email. I would love you forever. Did you know Third Space Indy's intro music is done by the local artist Jennison? Jennison, thank you so much for offering me your music to use as an intro. I love the hand signs you're throwing over here. If anyone's listening to audio, we've got a very animated guest.
Hey.
But that's all I got. Thank you so much for listening. Hope to see you again. And I hope to share the next episode with you. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.